Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at all 5 of my Fire Brigade Models fire engines that I have in my collection so far, and take a look at each one individually and then give my overall view thoughts on this collection. So with that being said, I'm going to begin this video. So the first one I'm going to take a look at is one of the Scania fire engines that I have. I'm going to move the other ones out of the way real quick and take a look at the first one. And this one's a pretty nice one. This one is from the Strathclyde Fire Brigade. I'm going to zoom in real quick. Got some small writing on here, some detailing to it, but there you go. You see it right there. It says Emergency 1 and Strathclyde Fire Brigade. So that's pretty cool. Then here's more of a bit of an up close. I might just zoom out a notch. Hopefully you can see it. So this one is from Scotland. It's a pretty cool one. Not a whole lot of detailing to it. You just see the lines on the doors right there. And then you see where it says Strathclyde Fire Brigade and Emergency 1, as I just showed you. It's pretty cool. Looks like two, I don't know if these are like lights or something right here above the lockers. But that's pretty cool to have that detail. You can also see on the cab right here, it's got the coat of arms. And I'll zoom in on that real quick. Show you guys. Looks like the coat of arms or the badge. Some type of a symbol. Which is pretty nice. And if it doesn't turn out, I'll just take a picture and make a post for it. So, but yeah, you pretty much get the idea. You see it right there. So I'm going to zoom out just a bit now. Try to keep it in focus as best I can. So I'm going to move it around. You can see the back of the appliance right here. Looks like you got these things right here on both sides. I don't know what these are. It's pretty nice. I noticed on my Oxford fire engine it has these things, so that's pretty cool. Got the area where the pumps are at the back. The pump is. They hook up the hoses and everything, so that's pretty cool. Then turning it around to the side, it's pretty much the same detailing on this side. It's pretty nice. So that's pretty cool. And then turning it around to the front, as you can see, you see the blue light bar across the top, and then there's two blue lights right here and right here, right above the cab, which is pretty nice. I like that it's got Scania written across the front of it. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty cool detail. It's also got the mirrors on both sides, which is pretty cool. Another little detail too that I'm seeing, this mirror or something like right up here, right above. I'll zoom in on it. It's right there on the top part of the cab, this thing right here. That's pretty cool that that's there, so that's a nice little detail to it. That's pretty cool. Zoom back out. And then turning it back around to the other side, you can see right up here, there's got like a camera or some type of a light right here, which is pretty nice. And then we'll take a look from the top. So there's that camera or light right there, which is pretty cool. You got a small ladder right here. You got another big one over here on this side, and then you got this big old thing right here in the middle, right here, this big one. It's pretty nice. And then another interesting detail I like on it too is I like this bar right here that goes across the back, which is pretty nice. So that's pretty cool that that's there for that one. So this was actually, I think, the first Fire Brigade Models fire engine I got, and I really like this one. It's a pretty big one for a 1/50th scale model. It's pretty nice, especially since it's from Scotland. So that'll be it for that one. The next one is another Scania fire engine. And I got this last December, right on Christmas. So it's a pretty cool one. This one is also from Scotland. It's from Grampian, which is pretty nice. Different detailing on this one. As you can see, it's a white one. And got those lights above the locker, and it says Grampian Fire Brigade. It kind of stands out a bit more, which is pretty cool that it says that. Because it's Fire Brigade Models, that's why it says Fire Brigade. I know that at a later time it was Grampian Fire and Rescue, I believe, or Fire and Rescue Service. So that's pretty cool. But back in the day, it was called Grampian Fire Brigade. And it's got that highlighter yellow, that neon color across the back, and then going down across the front of the cab as well, which is pretty nice. You can also see the that badge or the fire symbol right there. It's pretty nice. That one stands out a lot more, which is pretty cool. Turning it around to the front, as you can see, it says 961 in the cab right on the window, and then it says Scania written below, which is pretty nice. Really like the detailing on the front. It says 94D220, which is pretty cool. It did come with some fragile mirrors, but I chose not to put them on just because of taking it in and out of the box, and I don't want them to fall off, so I'm just going to leave it like that. This one has, as you can see right across the top, the blue light bar, but then there's also the air horn right here on this side, which is pretty cool. A little bit different from the Wiltshire one that I did a review of in my last video, so be sure to check that one out. But this is a nice little feature right here that it's got the air horn on top, so that's a pretty nice one. Turning it around, it's pretty much the same detailing on this side. Pretty cool. Really like it, like the look of it. It's a pretty nice detail for this Scania fire engine. And then turning it around to the back, you can see these two, it's got the same two things right here on this side that it did on the last one, except on the Strathclyde one, they looked a lot longer. So that's pretty cool. Got these tools right here on both sides, those things. The pump area right here at the back. It's got like, shows like a little lever on the door to open it up, even though this doesn't open. But that's pretty cool. It's got that detail that makes it look that way. And I like that color pattern going up the back. Looks like a yellow and reddish color, so that's pretty nice. And then also too, now we're gonna take a look from above. As you can see right here, you got another, that same thing, that light or camera right here. It's pretty cool. And then you got the small ladder here, got a big one on the other side, and then you have this big one right here in the middle, which is pretty cool. And then you can see the air horn too on top, which is pretty nice. So that's an interesting detail. And then a lot like the Strathclyde one right here, as you can see along the back part, it looks like it's got those things right across this bar like it's hooked on. So that's pretty cool. So this was the second Fire Brigade Models Scania fire engine that I have in my collection, and that's a pretty cool one too. So I like that one. Moving right along, this one is a Dennis Sabre, and this one is from Devon Fire and Rescue. And I just did a review of this one in one of my previous videos, so be sure to go back and check that one out. Got some nice detailing on this side. As you can see right up here, there's that camera again with that light. And then I'm going to zoom in on the cab area for briefly here for a second. So as you can see, it's got 471 on the door. PLYMTON, pretty cool. And then you got the fire service thing right on the door, www.devfire.gov.uk, pretty cool. I like that yellow color going across the doors, and then of course you see the fire symbol right here, that badge or crest. Not sure what it's called, but that's there. Moving right along towards the back of it, I like how it says Devon Fire and Rescue on it. Fire and Rescue Service, I should say. Seatbelts, smoke alarms, save lives, which is pretty cool. I like that written across those lockers. And then you've got some lights right above them as well. So that's pretty cool. Zoom out just a little bit here. Turning it around to the back, the difference on this one, it looks like you got some ladders where you can climb up onto the appliance from the back, which is pretty cool. And then you've got this area here where they hook up the pumps at, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. And then this is the driver's side of the appliance. It's pretty much the same detailing and everything, so that's pretty cool. So move right along. While we're at it, we're going to take a look at the top of the appliance. This one has 2 loose ladders. That's just how it came. So unfortunately, I'm not too happy about it, but I can take them on and off. So these get moved around quite a bit, so I don't really use this one in very many of my videos, although I have used it a few times, but I don't like to just because of the loose ladders, which is unfortunate. You can see the blue light bar across the top, and then you see the small ladder over here on this side, and then this ladder right here was supposed to be connected on here, but it isn't, and then you got the big one, of course, which is pretty cool. And I also showed you that camera or light right over here on this side, so that's pretty cool. That's nice. And then bringing it down, I'm going to move it around to the front. And you can see this one says Dennis written across the front of it, which is pretty cool. I like the color on the lower half, how it's white and red, which is pretty cool. It looks like it's got a license plate right there. V623E or FTT, which is pretty nice. So that's the Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue Service fire engine, and this one's a Dennis Sabre, so that's pretty cool. And then this one was the previous one that I did a review of. This one is from Wiltshire Fire Brigade, as it was called back in the day. And this is another Dennis Sabre, one of my favorites right here, which is pretty nice. Got the same neon yellow color on the top, and then going across the 2 lockers, which is pretty cool. And then going across the cab as well. You see the fire badge or crest right there along the back part of it too, and then it says Swindon and 180 on it, which is pretty nice. I know that 180 is hard to see, so I'll zoom in. There you go. Be sure to check out the review of this one that I did in my previous vid. If you haven't already seen it, it's a pretty nice one. And this is just kind of re-showing what it looks like. And then a lot like the Grampian one, it has the same blue light bar, except the gray part right here in the middle. And then the air horn right here is actually in the middle of the cab on top, which is a little bit different. Dennis written across the front in gray, and then still got that yellow color going across the front. You can see the windshield wipers on it too as well, which is pretty nice. And then turning it around to the other side, it's pretty much the same detailing on it. So it's pretty much the same thing. That's pretty cool. And then we're going to take a look at the back of the appliance. I like the colors on this one. It looks like the yellow and red, which is pretty nice. And then it's got the red and blue lights on the back right there. And then the pump area, and I like how it says fire written right down here. I know it's hard to see it, but that's what it says, so that's pretty cool that that's there. And then taking a look at the top of the appliance, we got the camera right here, different color. This one's black and got a gray. Small ladder, got another one over here, and then you got this big one, which is pretty cool. So it's a pretty nice one. Really like the look of this one. And like I said before, be sure you go back and check out the review of this one. It's a pretty nice one. It's pretty cool, so hope you enjoy that video. And then last but not least, I did get another fire engine this week in my collection. This one's a brand new one. Be sure to check out the review of this one too. This one is another Dennis Sabre, and it's from Dorset Fire and Rescue Service, as it's has shown written on it. No detailing across the locker, but across the cab you see that yellow neon color, which is pretty cool. And then the same thing written right above the same thing above the locker area. And then you got some lights, and of course where it says Dorset Fire and Rescue Service. Zooming in on the cab now, if you didn't see the post for this one, there's that nice little detail right there. I know it's probably not going to turn out well, so just go look at the post. It looks like the coat of arms possibly. Not entirely certain. Zoom back out now. Oop. I'm going to move it a little further away. And then same thing as the other ones. It's got Dennis written across the front in gray, and you got that yellow color, which is pretty nice. I know that the writing is probably going to be a bit blurry. It's pretty cool. And then you got two blue lights at the front, which the other ones had on them as well, which is pretty cool. You can see the blue light bar. There's no air horn or anything on top, which is a little bit different. It's pretty cool though. And then it's the same detailing along this side as well. Not a whole lot, it's pretty much just the same thing. So, but you get the idea. Now we're going to take a look at the top of the appliance now, top of the fire engine. You see right here on this side, they have the camera again, or that light that they use right here, which is pretty cool. You got this small ladder, this one, and then the other one. And then this was the only ladder on it that was loose. Which is okay. I don't mind that there's one loose one. I'm just glad that the other ladders are intact, which is pretty nice. So it's a pretty cool model. I really like it though. So that's, this was the most recent one that I got for my collection, and I really like it. It's a brand new one. And then of course, taking a look at the back of the fire engine right here, you see it in yellow. They have the same two, looks like a tool of some sort possibly. Same thing as had on the other ones. The area with the pump at the back right here, which is pretty cool. And then another detail on this one, if we take a look from above, or you can probably see it this way, it's got this light right back here on the bar, on the pole at the back, which is pretty cool. I noticed a few of my Oxford fire engines have that, or at least one or two of them do. But this is a pretty nice feature right here that it has on it. I think it's pretty cool. So that's pretty nice that has that detail. But on this one, this is the only Fire Brigade Models fire engine that has that on it. So that's a pretty nice detail. So now with that being said, I'm going to zoom out a bit. And I know that things might look a bit blurry, but that's okay. Now, for me to give my overall view thoughts on the collection I have right here in front of you so far. So now I'm going to try to hopefully get everything in here in one round, hopefully. So I have to say I'm really satisfied with this collection so far. I really like the difference in all of these. I do like the Scania fire engines a lot. I just like their design, but I also like the Dennis Sabre look too, because of their design. It's pretty cool. I'm really satisfied with all of these purchases that I got. The Strathclyde one, the one from Wiltshire, and the Devon and Somerset one I got within months apart. They were very costly and expensive to get. I got them off of eBay, and I was like, yep, I need to have at least a few different appliances in my collection. But I was also happy to get those two Scottish ones, the one from Strathclyde and Grampian. So those are pretty cool. All really nicely detailed, and I like that they're all from different places, so it's pretty cool. If you're an enthusiast who likes collecting emergency vehicles like these ones, I highly recommend getting them for your collection. And they're all 1/50th scale, so that's why they're so nice and big. Really nicely detailed, got a lot of nice features on them. They look and resemble the real fire engine in real life, so that's what makes it really cool to collect these. And I just like the looks and designs of them. So I highly recommend if you come across anything like this for your collection, you get them, as they are definitely worth the money, and they would definitely be a great addition for your collection. So be sure you get stuff like this if you like the emergency vehicles. I think Fire Brigade Models did a really good job with these, so I'm really impressed, and I hope I can find more in the future. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please be sure you stay tuned for the next one.